ho mai kai ke mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no e o na mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai kai ke mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no e o na mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai e. I have just asked for guidance and wisdom and knowledge from my masters and mentors before me, to ask for that to be flown and really brought into my body so that I can share it properly with all of you. So when we leave today, you'll all have a deeper connection of understanding of the Aloha spirit, of the land, and of each other. So mahalo for coming today and for opening your hearts and minds and allowing me to share this energy with you all. Being the last speaker today has been amazing, but it really did teach me something, what Joanne said exactly. We are all one. And what's been really amazing to see is we all come from different places, different stories. We all have completely different backgrounds, but we're all bringing together the same, we have the same end goal. This whole sustainability, this green beauty world has really become so much more than beauty, but it's a way of life. And that's what drew me to green beauty. I really didn't even know there was such a community when I was in Hawaii. I had no idea that this space existed, this beautiful space. But what drew me were these values of sustainability, of culture, of connectedness, because that's what the Hawaiian culture is. They really were connected to one another. They were connected to the land. Their connection was so deep with the ocean and the land that sustainability was just a natural way of living for them back in the traditional days. And there's actually a creation story, and it talks about how we are all related to the land, the earth, and creatures. We are all one. And so they had this belief. They even believed that the kalo plant, a taro plant, was the first unborn relative of the people. So our relative is the kalo plant. And that's how connected they were with the earth. And so with this process of thought came this respect for the land. And there's a name for that. It's called ALOHA Aina. The word aloha and aina, and I'll get into aloha a lot more later, but the word aina itself means so many things in the Hawaiian culture. But land, it's the main word for land, but broken down, it means that which feeds, ai and na. So they understood that the land is what fed them and supported them. So that was very much who the Hawaiian people were, and that was my background in my culture. I was raised in Oahu, where Jeannie also grew up, in Palolo Valley, and immersed in the Hawaiian culture since birth. I was probably the whitest kid in my neighborhood, but I had no idea. I thought I was just as Hawaiian as everybody else. I had no clue. But it was just immersed in me. The land, the culture, the music, the hula, that's who I was. Unfortunately, though, I also grew up in a time where land was being taken away, misused, and not respected. So many of my weekends as a child were spent protesting. Sorry. Protesting against issues such as sacred lands being desecrated for bombing practice and war games. Water sources being cut off from our taro beds. And farms that I grew up on to be rerouted for luxury golf courses. And that was the beginning. One of the hardest things I had to watch was my godfather being carried away by hand and foot, being evicted from our Sunday gathering spot, which is the old Hawaiian church. Not a traditional church by any means, but more of a gathering place where we shared aloha, we sang, we did prayers. But this home, it was also home. This place was home to the Kalaupapa residents. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Hansen's disease or leprosy, but my godfather was one of the Hansen's disease patients, and they were forced to live in isolation for years in Molokai. Beautiful land, though, but eventually they wanted to return home to Oahu, and they were homeless, and they didn't have a lot of money. So they lived at this church called Hale Mohalu, where we congregated every Sunday, and we would go out um, and what happened? They had a community. They built a community there. There were horses and gardens and food growing, and they got evicted so that they could build a baseball field for military families. So we watched the bulldozers come in and take everything down. So to this day, at a very young age, I learned the importance of land preservation, the need to continue fighting for it. So to this day, we support local farms, reforestation, native land rights in hopes of restoring our native Aina. Ooh, I didn't know I'd get this emotional. Okay. So there's a saying in Hawaiian, Ina malama oi ka aina, e malama ka aina ya oi. If you take care of the land, it will take care of you. And I truly believe this. I think we all do here in this room. That's why we all understand each other so much. I think we can all agree that no relationship should be one-sided. And our relationship with our Mother Earth should be no different. That's why I refer to her as Mama Honua. The name of our company, Honua, means earth. And Mama Honua, Mother Earth. And I think a great tip or reminder to teach us every day to take care of our earth is personalizing our relationship with her. So little things I teach my children. It might sound simple or silly, or maybe you do it already. But reflecting every day on what we're grateful for that the earth provides us. And then take it a step further. And what are we doing to give back to her for these things that we're receiving? So simple as the green tea I got at the cafe yesterday. Oh my God, it was delicious. What did I do to give back? Maybe it was just bringing my reusable mug or my straw so that we're not creating unneeded waste and plastic for our ocean. Or we could even think larger on a bigger scale. The ocean, I connect so much with ocean. It's my special place. So my big goal this year was to really give back to the ocean as much as I could. We do use glass and we do a lot of things that are great, but I wanted to go bigger. And that's when Jeannie and I had this great conversation last year. And it actually started just wanting to take our children to the beach and do beach cleanups and education and teach them about the dangers of these ocean plastics and gyres that are forming. And then it turned into this big community event that we're going to be doing on April 14th in Hawaii. And I'm really, really excited. So whatever you guys are doing, you may not be able to join us that day, but wherever you are, if you can maybe make it down to the coast or down the street, just picking up trash, being aware, bring yourself into that moment with us so we can feel your energy when we're there that day. But these beach cleanups for me aren't enough as well. It's the education behind it. I'll continue to educate my children, my customers, everything I can through social media. And then this year we also partnered with a company called Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii. And they are doing huge efforts to also clean our ocean's plastic, educate the community, and they're working on big waste diversion projects. So that's been our big focus this year on giving back to the ocean. So please ask yourselves daily, how do you love back? Focus on that and remind yourself daily, and I think it will really be beautiful. In our industry, it's also so important, as everyone spoke about today, and more, reinforcement, that we're all on the same page. It's so important that we do the same for our ingredients. If we want to keep sourcing these beautiful botanical ingredients, we need to make sure that they're being replenished and that our farms are being supported properly. Everything Laurel had to say, I'm such an ingredient geek too. I was sitting there like, oh my God, everybody here in the room I learn from continually too. They're all teachers for me. I have a little story in that as well. The sandalwood, I'm in love with sandalwood. But unfortunately, it's becoming scarce in Hawaii and probably all over the world. And so I refused to use it in any of my products until I could support it enough to create a product. So last year, we donated hundreds of dollars to grow sandalwood trees on the Big Island. And Jeannie also was a part of this. She gifted a tree to me, and it was really, really special. So after reforesting, I did kind of reverse reforesting. It was planting first so that we could reap the benefits at one time. And now we're slowly adding it in little amounts to one of my masks that we just launched. But I think it was so special to me just growing the trees first and having them flourish and then saying, okay, I feel okay using a little bit of it. And this mentality, this mindset that was imprinted on me comes from my background that I learned from my husband, La'o Lapa'o. And you guys heard a little bit about it in our introduction. La'o Lapa'o is another word for Hawaiian healing using botanicals. And my husband studied under the last Kahuna Lapa'o living, which was really amazing. And so he shared his herbal knowledge with me. At the time, I was an esthetician for about 3 or 4 years, and I just wasn't finding luck with whatever was on the market and having a hard time. And so we started using these traditional Hawaiian botanicals at home for our family. It wasn't even for skincare at first. It was mainly for cuts and wounds and bites. And we started seeing amazing results with healing and regeneration. And then I realized that we really didn't need a lot of these chemicals and other ingredients, that what we had was in our backyard. And so I created an apothecary style spa in Palolo Valley, just along the river. And basically we would pick the ingredients. I had pestle and mortar. It was all raw facials. And it was who we were. It was, it just felt so good to be healing people. So I never had the intention to create a skincare line. I had no idea I would be standing here today. It's kind of crazy how your path just keeps winding and changing and evolving. But this Hawaiian healing also, I want to talk a little bit more. And what's neat is it's very similar to a lot of other, when I'm studying a lot of other traditional medicine, very similar, where we treat the root of the issue. And that's what drew me to it in the beginning. I love the concept that by using traditional healing and treating the root of something, you really do see the results rather than trying to mask individual, what's the word that comes up, that symptoms, thank you, great, symptoms that come forth from it. So some of the Hawaiian la'o that I chose to work with is olena, which is our Hawaiian turmeric. This is about 8 years now ago when I started working this ingredients, and turmeric wasn't as widely found in skincare. Now it's awesome. You can find it in so many products. But at the time, it was really difficult to find a line that had turmeric in it. So we used our olena for anti-inflammatory purposes. And I think Josh also, you're saying, is really understands that concept as well, that inflammation really is one of the underlying root causes of sun damage, acne, pigmentation, rosacea. So much is caused by inflammation. So if we take this potent anti-inflammatories, it's really going to help get to the root of that and treat it. So that was one of the first ingredients that I fell in love with. Another one is noni. Noni plant's another one that that spoke to my heart, because we had been using it for years internally, taking it in daily health shots and tinctures for its healing benefits, but it's also a rich source of whole food antioxidants, vitamin C and selenium. So it's addressing another root cause of skin condition, free radical damage to cells. I won't get too crazy into that, but basically it's just another way to treat the root of issues so that we can have one skincare line that truly is effective for many different skin conditions. Another ingredient that we used a lot is called lokahi. And it's a weed, actually. Most people would step over it and not have any idea to pick it up and use it. And we call it our Hawaiian Band-Aid. It's antibacterial. It heals cuts, scrapes, wounds. And traditionally, we used it in a poultice, but I actually just started formulating with it in our mask that we launched in our Aina mask. But it was one we used a lot in our home. So if you're ever, I think the English name is Plantago major. I'm not very good with the English names yet. I'm learning them. But if you look it up and you ever want to use it at home and for your kids to make little poultices and stuff, it really is effective. And then our other two ingredients I really want to talk about too are our oils. Kukui and kamani oils are wonderful for skin health. They have omega fatty acids. They're skin protecting, regenerating. and they're great for all skin types. So all of these ingredients I just talked about are in this little healing bottle of oil that you guys all have. If we could take it out. And it's called Olena oil, giving credit to the Olena or the Hawaiian turmeric. So the product you're holding in your hand, this was my baby, my first product I ever made out of my treatment. Remember I said I had just been doing apothecary style. I had no desire to bring it to life. And then my clients were wanting more. They wanted home care. So I started bottling in small batches. I gave it away as part of my service because I thought home care was necessary. I never charged for it as part of my service. I would send them home with their Olena oil, and they'd come back and they'd refill it, and I'd give them services. But this oil you have is created using the sun. So it's basically just 3 oils, and we infuse it with the ingredients I was talking about, the Olena, Noni, Laukahi. I'm sorry, not the Laukahi, that's in my mask. Olena, Noni, and cacao. And what you can also use this for, it's not only going to be a great beauty staple, but it's a great medicine cabinet go-to. This is what our children use at home for bites, cuts, scrapes, wounds, rashes, you name it. Anytime anything's wrong, they're running around looking for the Olena oil in the house. So share it with your family. Really enjoy it because it truly is, there's ALOHA in these bottles. The whole process from picking it to putting it together, it's a whole process. And that was one of the things I really had to learn from my husband when I started creating, is the protocol behind it. It's not just about the botanicals, which are very powerful themselves, but there was a protocol that needed to be followed. Everything had to be done with intention. Before picking the botanicals, permissions needed. You have to ask for permission it's usually done in the form of chant or Hawaiian prayer. There's just so much thought that went into each creation and each handcrafted batch, and they're all made with ALOHA. And that gets me into our ALOHA. So let's open up our boxes now. Now that you have it still in your hand, we're going to look at the inside. So today we are going to experience the powerful spirit of ALOHA, and we'll leave here with a tool that will help us get one step closer to a more peaceful world. My uncle Mo Keale and Bernard Punikaia were one of the 2 people that really instilled the ALOHA spirit in me. They both spent so much of their life devoted to sharing and peace around the world, sharing the ALOHA spirit and peace around the world. My godfather, the one I spoke about earlier, gave me my Hawaiian name at birth, Kawahine Luna Ho'omalu, which means the woman in charge of bringing peace. With name came responsibility, and I understood that, and I took it to heart. And I've always tried to be the peacemaker amongst friends, family, and classmates. As I got older, I wanted to figure out my greater purpose, as other speakers were talking about earlier, I think. And how to share this gift on a global level. So when I made the connection with ALOHA and peace, it was one of my biggest aha moments ever. I must have heard my uncle Mo Keale. He was a Hawaiian musician. He'd play in public all the time, and we'd be listening to him, but he always shared on stage before every performance his story of ALOHA and why it's so powerful. And he must have said this 100 times. In this next millennium, the world will turn to Hawaii in its search for world peace, because Hawaii has the key, and that key is the ALOHA spirit. And he truly felt it. And his teacher, Pilahipaki, Auntie Pilahipaki, gave this speech in the 70s, and she told the world that one day the world will be looking to Hawaii for this key to world peace. So these are the 5 traits also that come along with it that he shared with me, that defines what ALOHA spirit truly is. And if internalized, these traits create a deep sense of belonging to a community and caring for each other. And now that this world is one big at-risk community, I think ALOHA is needed now more than ever. So I want you guys to do a little activity. We're going to go through each word. And I'm going to talk about what it means. And I want you guys to really reflect on the different meanings, because these just aren't words in a box. I put them here for a reason. When people take them home at night, I encourage them to reflect on it every night before they go to bed in their time of waking, during their time of self-love. So let's go through each of these and really think about what you do daily already to do this, and then also take it to another level and think of how you can express each of these traits even more. So the first one, and if everyone can repeat after me so we can say the word and feel it. Akahai, meaning kindness, to be expressed with tenderness. So take a minute and think about how you share kindness or exude kindness around you every day. How have you been kind or tender to yourself or other people? Just reflect for a minute and make yourself feel really good for the ways you're already living aloha. Lokahi. Can you repeat after me? Lokahi. Good. And that's unity, to be expressed in harmony. I see so much unity in this community already. It's so beautiful. Even on social media, hearing people talk to one another like they're best friends or family. And even all of us brand founders, we have so much love for each other. When we saw each other this morning, it was like hugging friends and family we haven't seen in forever. So I really feel this sense of lokahi, or unity, in this community. Olu olu, meaning agreeable, to be expressed with pleasantness. Think about how you've been agreeable or pleasant, even when it's difficult. Sometimes it's hard. I know with my husband, he knows I can't always be agreeable, but I try. Ha'a ha'a, meaning humility, to be expressed with modesty. How have you been modest or shared these traits of humility? Ahonui, meaning patience, to be expressed with perseverance. So now that we're all filled with this aloha spirit, hopefully we're feeling it inside. I hope you went through each and really did think about how you're already living it and have this beautiful energy in you, because now we're going to share it with somebody else. Traditionally, when you see Hawaiian people, they'll usually greet you with a honi, or a kiss on the cheek. And I'm sure a lot of cultures do that as well. But in Hawaii, what happened was it used to be done a lot differently. And then smallpox came to Hawaii, and so they had to change to the cheek kiss. But traditionally, they would exchange their breath, their mana, or their power. And the word aloha, actually broken into two words. Alo is in the presence of, ha is the breath of life. So that word aloha is sharing that breath of life. It's that exchange of energy. So I'm going to demonstrate with Nicole here how a traditional honi was done. And I want you guys to stand up and do it with somebody around you. I know it might feel uncomfortable. If you don't want to do it, I totally understand. But it's going to feel amazing. Exchanging that energy that you just filled yourself with that aloha, now you're going to give it to someone else. And so you'd go like you're leaning in for a kiss, and you're going to touch noses. So it's deep breath. You're breathing in their energy. You touch foreheads, the bridge of your nose, and you just breathe in. You take 2 deep breaths together. Okay, so let's do it. I'll do it again with everyone. Stand up. When it looks silly, when you do it, it will feel beautiful. Trust me.
Now's the time to make friends.
I know. Take. I love it. All this aloha being shared. It feels so good. So I hope you felt how powerful that was. Now imagine sharing that aloha with the world, with everyone you meet. It doesn't have to be through exchanging breath. It could be through a smile, a kind gesture, a phone call, or even a social media post. I have two Hawaiian names, actually. My other Hawaiian name is Kapua Browning, which means the unique flower. And I got it a little later in life from my kumuhula. And I ended up, people started calling me that more than anything because I always wear a pua in my ear or flower. And I fell in love with wearing these flowers from when I was a little girl because of the energy or the receipt that I got from wearing it. I noticed when I'd wear it, people would smile and they'd be like, wow, you look, beautiful flower. That's so nice. And it'd cheer them up instantly. I could be in the grocery store and I had a flower in my ear and all of a sudden this grumpy old man couldn't help but smile when I walk in with this big smile and a flower in my ear. So I really enjoyed that loving energy that I got when I wore it. So I never took it out. Even when I moved away from Hawaii, I kept a fake flower that I wear a whole bunch of different ones, but because it makes me feel good, it spreads that aloha spirit. And so that's just another little way that you can share by smiling, making people happy. So aloha is contagious, and if truly loved and lived by all, the world would truly be a better place. I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to see A Wrinkle in Time yet. I really liked it. It was great. But like Oprah said, we must fight the darkness with light. The only thing that works faster than light is darkness, so let's work fast. Let's be warriors of light and share our aloha with the world. So I want to leave you with one last aloha gift from me, a hula. There's nothing that makes me happier than dancing since I was little, so I wanted to share it all with you. And thank you guys so much, though, for opening your hearts and your minds today to take in what I had to share. Yes. Oh, I'll just leave my hand. It's fine, it's fine. Can you try a little louder? I like it. A little louder. I like loud music.
you.